Greetings and salutations. I'm Ben. Welcome to the Sunday night hanging right here on Sundays. Yes, on the YouTubes. If you're new, please subscribe. Returning, welcome back. Hanging with, he's a mainliner. Gearjunkie himself, 35. I would say collector of pedals. No, hoarder. Yep. Aficionado. Wants to make sure he's checked all the bases. So, long overdue to hang once again here. We've done some group hangs, but I'm like, you know what? Let's do a hang and do a deep dive on deep dives. I don't know. I don't know. So, laid back, easy going. We've already got 30 people in the chat. I'll quickly do roll call and we'll get right into it. How about that? Because I see some new names, I think. We got My Knees Hurt, Dan of New Jersey, Joe Hervey 84, Scott Brockway, Mr. Anderson 59, Guitar Man 45, BC Rich 581, Zach Thong, Symmetry, Lawrence Cash out of Alaska, Ryan Hall, Michael B. Great to see Michael B. Terry's 3Gs, Cushman NYC, they're talking cars, Keith H. Tone Dragon, welcome. Who else do we have here? Paul McNary. LRM Guitars. Down and Back Cornhole Podcast. You are always late, Doug. Yeah, you are late. Gretch Zeppelin's here. Hip Metal Works. Billy Baloney. Michael Kraus. Ferd Burfel. Great to see Ferd Burfel in here.
Love that name.
Donnie Bean. Yeah. Martin Lemaire. Wow, yeah, all kinds of folks here. Fruitcake Tony.
Sorry, trying to get a better angle on the camera, not trying to make anybody seasick out there.
Jeff P., Johnny Heartbreaker, Paul L. Ewing. Great to see. We got a bunch of people in here. Jason Lindholm. Nice. Murph Murphy. Great to see Murph in here. Scott Brockway's ready for all the pedals. Well, Scott's got about as many as you do at this point, I think.
I'm closing in on, I hate to say it, with about 300 now.
Okay. I think Scott might be past that. Of course, he buys in bulk on broken, and he's able to fix them. I don't know. I just break them. I don't fix them. Yeah. I just break them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just stop until they don't stop anymore.
Hey, Dan, Basement Guitar Superstar.
Hey, my name's okay. That is classic. It's a little bit of a hybrid.
Nice.
Basically use it for a 6L6 stereo power amp. Or, I'm sorry, just a 6L6 mono power amp into 212s.
Works for me. That company starts with an F, ends in Fender. No, yeah, maybe. I don't know. They like 6L6s into 212s. I'm just saying. Yep. Let's see here. We've got... Let's see. Mike Crosses, like I said before, I refuse to count them. Ignorance is bliss. Yep. Murph's been on a tear buying pedals from Japan. The yen is low right now. Oh man, we're not going that deep yet. I avoid those Reverb pages because they do have everything. Joe, thanks. He says great show on Friday. Yeah, that was a lot of fun hanging out with Mark and Dave from Tone Talk. Lots of amp information there. Hey, Robert Gallagher. Yeah, let's always see some new names in here. Awesome. Billy only has 18 pedals. He must be an amateur. Yep.
18. Good Lord, I got more Tube Screamer clones than that.
I might be pushing that for choruses at this point.
Yeah, honestly, chorus is one of those things, either you like it or you don't, and there's only so many flavors of what you can actually do with it. It's all basically variations of the CE2. Boss got it right 35 years ago. I
agree on that one. Well, the only difference, once I went stereo. Now I'm just looking for anything that's better than the MXR stereo chorus. For me. Without going rack mount yet.
Mono in, stereo out. Delta Lab, the old Guitar Center brand. $30, Guitar Center used. It's a stereo CE2, swear to God. I don't have one anymore, but if I did, it would close your eyes, taste test. You would not be able to pick which one's which.
Nice.
Kill a little pedal. the problem. They're all killer little pedals, and even the shitty ones that don't sound good. You push them with enough other pedals, you'll find something in there that makes you go, oh, I have to have that sound forever. Even the bad ones have something good about them.
Yep. And that's how you end up with shelves of pedals and floors, and yeah, they breed, I swear.
Except for this one. Can't do damn thing make this one sound good. My opinion.
Is that a nano metal muff?
Yeah. It's the pocket muff. Yeah. Some people like them.
Yeah.
It's like a metal zone with the mids adjusted a little too far out and just left there with a wand somewhere cocked in the middle too.
Yeah.
Just can't get past it. It's good for, when you need a little disgusting bleh that your other pedals just can't give you, just for that little chugga section. That's the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. Just can't get out of it. Got this one based on Grumpy Mike's video a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Dig this pedal. This is a lot of fun. It's got more tone than your standard Rat. I don't know. I think it's based on the Fat and the Turbo. But I don't know. One of those settings in there is just my telly just all of a sudden sparkled. Wait, you don't get sparkle out of a Rat. What the hell's going on here? It's good stuff.
Great. Nice. All right. Put that on my list. BC Rich mentions the first ever CE1 is up. Serial number 1 is up on Reverb for $1 million.
Jesus. What about Bonamassa?
Yeah. Yeah. I did a warning. I'll pass it along to the general public here. We got 50 people watching, and pass along to your friends. I warned on the Zoom call yesterday, never go full Bonamassa. Just don't. Because then you'll have all of them. All of the whatever it is. Ryan Hall asks, how about that DOD from Charles? Oh, the what's that called? The Icebox Stereo Chorus. Still on the board as of now. Still on the board. So it wasn't a try it out, pull it right off. It's piggybacking over top of the MXR Stereo Chorus at the moment. Because it actually does a pretty plausible realm of that. So, although I have no idea what the high FQ knob does, because I've twisted it all the way around both ways, and it does nothing, in my opinion.
I think it was almost like a contour knob. It's the 10K and above.
Right. I probably have those frequencies dialed out of my amps, and that's why I'm not hearing.
Well, between that and the tinnitus, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's a mid contour. I have no mids in my signal path. Oh, well, then it's kind of like trying to use a wah with a totally scooped amp. Yeah. It pretty much becomes an on-off switch.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What I see? Hey. DMAC says, hey guys, wondering what mainstream brand pedal the LPD 87 best compares to. Oh, I don't know if it does. Well, the green side.
Just a little.
Yeah. The green side, I don't know. That compares to a few Marshall in boxes out there, like your Wampler Pinnacles of the world and stuff like that. But that red channel, I don't know. I haven't come across something that sounds like the red channel. So maybe some of the Rev pedals. Maybe. I don't know. Possibly a Friedman pedal. I haven't gotten into the Friedman pedals yet. That's a rabbit hole I don't need to go down, because I think that's another one where you want all the flavors. And yeah, they're not cheap here. So
not cheap anywhere, even on the used market.
Yeah.
I'm not one to necessarily go out and advocate, like Behringer does, the reverse engineering, and somebody else put a lot of blood, sweat, tears, frustration, burnt fingertips into these circuits, getting it to sound just right. And then somebody comes along and all it takes is, scan it and the computer will tell you exactly what the parts are. You don't even have to think about reverse engineering anymore. It's an automated process. But damn, sometimes when those tones that, we all grew up listening to these certain sounds, handful of tones, we all chase them, we still do. And when those are made available in those pedals, it's like, man, it's kind of an unattainable for most, Joe Lunchbox players. But and then when you get to the knockoff versions, it's like, I really hate to advocate, not giving the money to the guys that did all that work, that put in the hours, burnt the fingertips.
Yep.
But damn, $30.
Well, and like you say, with the cheaper pedals, it's like they're like, okay, like this resistor's worth this. Let's source the cheapest resistor we can get that does that, and it trickles down. And it's like comparing a Chevrolet to a Ferrari. They're both cars, but there's a degree of finesse and quality of part, and you have to pay for that. But again, for the discerning ear, here's the difference too. If I can get 90% there for 1/10 the price, sign me up.
Yep.
And then if I finally need that last 10%, fine, I'll go for that. But like I said on Friday night's show, when I had my buddy Jason over here from Lambert Drive Studios, he's I'm going through a few different tones, playing some music for songs that I've written and stuff for him, and he was just like, "Wow, you have so many pedals, but it's so quiet." And I was like, well, they're good pedals, for that, because I do have 14 pedals daisy chained, but most of them are, and then you got a true bypass. Well, you got actually, I think I'm running the Hydra in buffered mode for that reason, so it can run as a buffer. But other than that, I don't know. It's not like you have them all on at once, but we also care about tone, and we've been tone chasing for years. So, what's up, Charles? John Shane. He says Friedman pedals are pretty reasonably priced. For what they are, yes.
They are. You can get them for about between 85 and 105 average on Guitar Center Musicians Friend Used, which again, for what they are, that's a decent price.
More than reasonable. Yeah.
But the Demon Effects version, it's like $25 used.
Yeah. How was it?
It's a bit over the top. It's a little furry, even when you dial it back a little bit. But the tightness knob is almost like it's almost like you're going from EL84 to 6L6. It completely changes the gain structure, and when the gain kicks in, it almost goes from like a linear to an algorithmic volume pot. It's like nothing. Oh, it's like you crank it to the tight all the way over, and it's just all the chugs all the time, even with the gain down a little bit. You're automatically JCM 900. That's your starting point. That's your clean. And for some people, that's a killer sound. I mean, I just saw the reviews. Been watching the Friedman pedal reviews for years, and it's like, oh, sure, $25 shipped. Okay. And again, I'd love to get to the point where there are a few builders, as you know, that I will spend a couple extra bucks on those pedals for.
Yep. Speaking of which, we've got Mr. Pedal Builder himself, Lawrence, in the chat, LPD Pedals.
Oh, hey, Mr. Pedals.
Nice.
Sometimes you pay for tone once and you're done.
Yep.
And then that's it. Like with this one, it's like, it's got a couple usable tones in there, but super high noise floor, kind of shrill on the high end. You need an EQ after it to kind of dial it out. It's like, for the price, just if that's the sound you're going for, just give your money to the big dogs first. Pay once.
I see Lawrence saw a D-Max comment. Yeah, I was saying, Lawrence, there's a few pedals that can get you into the green side territory, but I don't know what's out there that is similar to the red channel. It's its own beast. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I did order a pedal today myself. Keeley Halo has been ordered.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I pulled the trigger because part of it was I was on the Zoom call yesterday, and we're talking, and so I think someone just said, "Hey, are you thinking about it?" And I went, "You know what? Let's text our friend Rob over at Tesi Switch. Use coupon code Canucks, save 15%." And I said, What's my price? And then he replied back, this shipped. I said, sold.
Nice. I like when that happens.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting on the invoice and the old PayPal-ification, and then we take care of that. Murph got a Halo yesterday. Nice.
Let's see, where is it?
Ryan asks, are we going to see most folks are leaving the scene of pedals to use big digital boxes? Like, you mean, I assume like multi-effects or digital? No, I think we're still well in the golden age of pedal builds or pedals in general. So, thanks, Symmetry, for the Halo fund. I appreciate that.
Sorry, I was looking for a box. Wanted to do a live unboxing, but I can't find it. I only have all day to get it ready, but...
Well, cool. Or you can get a package and just leave it on your front step all day.
Yeah.
Until the sender's like, the tracking number says, buddy, it's been sent. Go outside. Yep. All right. Fine. Yep. You're right. So
it's there.
Charles says a fella finished a fabric top telly today. Oh, if that's the one he was showing off yesterday. If it's the one I'm thinking of, I believe it has all the paisley, including on the headstock.
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah. When he does the fabric match, because I can't call it color match. Yo, RJ, soda pop of the day is a classic. We are going with the thick and creamy A&W root beer.
That's always good.
Yeah, I like it when I'm doing the shows. The thickness of the root beer really coats the throat. Speaking of pedals, RJ has a Pedaler 5 up on his Reverb store. Just saying. And possibly more.
Oh.
Yeah, because he actually said, sorry, folks, on Friday on a post. Sorry, folks, no live stream tomorrow, but there will be more pedals up on the Reverb store. So, there is that. I'm just saying. Which, of course, I went through, and it's like, kids with baseball cards. Got it, need it, got it. Ooh. Maybe. And then I ordered the Halo, so... What's up, Pops? Quentin James in the house, and Boomer's back. Boomer's black. Boomster black. Boomer. That's why we went with Boomer. That's right. We decided on that months ago. Guitar Man 45 says, Fractal finally invited me to purchase the FM9. It's been so long now, I don't know if I still want it. I would get it just so I could put Larry Mitchell's presets into it. That's the only reason I would own a Fractal, is just because Larry has offered to send me his presets.
Nice.
And I would do that. RJ says he spent the weekend packaging and labeling 27 boxes, 15 more sale at the end of the month. Or 50 more will be for sale at the end of the month. Nice. Yes, I did, Michael. I ordered the Halo this morning, I guess. Today? I don't know. I think it was today. Yeah, it was today. So, haven't paid for it yet, but I'm hoping for a tracking number soon. Yes, exactly, Scott. Ben got the Halo. The barbecue's been backburnered again. No pun intended.
Just get one on the old Kijiji.
Yeah. Side of the road.
That's cool.
Yeah, right. Or, most porches are unattended after about 9 p.m. at night. I always think that for the Ray Green show was every episode of Handyman's Corner. Well, you're going to need some 2x4s. A good affordable place for 2x4s is any construction site after hours.
Yep.
Let's see what we got here. Got that. Yes, I'm hoping to have the Kramer done this week. Might even finish it tomorrow. I don't know. Boomer got the Behringer Octave Divider and the Ultraphonics. Both are Stella.
I was wondering how that was. The reviews, you can never really tell, until you get some actual words feedback on how it sounds. Apparently it's supposed to be like a pretty much dead nuts clone for the old was it the Mutron?
Oh yeah.
I have zero issues with Behringer products.
Oh yeah, you got a couple.
No, just a few. I got the TC Electronics, the 4-button chorus. That's supposed to be on the way. I got that last week, but it's still processing.
Mm,
Trying to get all their Space Chorus clones.
right.
All the good ones. I got a couple pedals that were just absolute dog shit. No matter, you just can't get a good sound out of them. God, Jesus, how did they ever decide this thing was clear to go on the market?
Quentin asks, all things being equal, do you prefer in-ears or loud amps moving air on stage? Loud amps. Because I already got the tinnitus. What's it going to do? Make it worse?
I've only been on stage a couple times, but never had an experience to use any of the in-ear monitors. But honestly, with the way my hearing is now, I can't really get the volume on the amps past about 3 or 4 before I get like a rattling, paper tearing sound in my left ear. So I'd probably go with the in-ears just for the protection.
There we are.
Got to think long term, and say in 30 years, I'd still like to be able to hear if I'm in tune.
Right. I'm just hoping for hearing aid technology by the time we need them. Will
Yep.
be
About a year ago, I saw a video online. Lou Ferrigno, the guy that played the Incredible Hulk, got these cochlear implants, and for the first time, heard about 80% of what you or I or anybody else would hear for the first time in his entire life. And the guy's like 70, and see that was just crazy.
no doubt.
It's like, wow, if things can come along that far in another 10, 20 years, when we're what? Hopefully, they'll be able to fine tune it. Kind of like compressors. You want mid-range compressor, high end, low end. Oh, I can't hear shit.
There is sort of like Bluetooth apps, interactive and stuff like that with hearing aids.
Can we cut below 60 hertz?
Yeah, I forget who it was. Fairly famous musician from the 80s. He wears hearing aids, and it's great because he's like, it's great. I have different presets, just like for my rig, because he has like a preset at home that is literally, he peaked the frequency that his wife's voice is. So if she said something, he wouldn't miss it. And I was like, that's brilliant. And then if for out and about, so that it's very heavy on noise cancellation, so you can be in a crowded room and still follow a conversation.
Nice.
That's brilliant. Love it.
Kemper profiles.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What's up, Ricky Compton?
Paul Leonard Ewing.
Yeah. Who did I saw a comment back here? What's up, Ron House of Bane? I just wish Behringer pedals were housed in metal. I'd pay a bit extra for that. I get that. Although I haven't broken mine, and I don't recall ever seeing one that's been broken.
The only thing that I've ever broken on them is the foot pedal, because those are also held in by 2 little plastic pins, and even then you can still get a broken Behringer pedal. If you walk outside and you trip over 3. Yeah, it's not hard to fix the foot switch, but yeah, that plastic is pretty tough. From waist level, I've dropped them and dented up the corner, but plugged them in and they were good.
Yeah.
But for $25 new,
They're essentially disposable.
yeah, exactly. Which is kind of sad. But
yeah.
Then again, we're a consumer society. Pretty much everything's disposable.
Pretty much.
No, not so much Canada, but America.
Now, I will say, the only one I've had, and I used it for a lot of gigs, was the noise gate. And that was, I remember it was blatant I needed a noise gate, because I was on the volume all the time, because there was a lot of songs that had muted parts in it, and if I'm playing just parts here and there, it was, because I had all the gain. So, I needed a tame. I think I was already using the MXR full bore metal, but I didn't like the built-in gate in it. And so I went down to the music store. I ordered in a Boss MXR, and the Behringer. And the guy was cool enough to order all of them in, because those are the three companies he carried, basically. And I wasn't sure. I was like, I'm hoping. At that point, I was like, I really don't want to buy the Boss because it was the most expensive. I was hoping to get away with the MXR, but I was really keeping my fingers crossed that the Behringer would do the job. And the Behringer did the job. And the employee got scolded because he made a snarky remark because I came in with my guitar and my pedal board, and because they did have a similar amp I could use. And he's like, what, you got to bring in your whole rig to test the pedal? I said, well, considering it's a noise gate, yes. And the owner just looked at him and goes, don't ever question something like that. That's stupid.
Wow.
Yeah.
That had to have been old school back when somebody was still on the sales floor going, hey, it's a customer who wants to buy something, don't question them. You don't see that much more.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago, give or take. 8 years ago, 10 years ago. It's kind of blurry, about 10 years ago. Ooh, I bought.
Found it. Remember the other day on the show, I mentioned that 10-pack of tone core pedals?
Oh, yes.
All the tones.
Ooh.
A couple of them are but
I hear Ricky Compton, he says, I need a good noise gate. I think I'm going to get the ISP Decimator. I hear they're good.
I had a Rocktron Hush rack mount. Wow.
Hey, sis.
Hey, Miss Amanda. The Rocktron Hush was pretty customizable. You could squash it down, clamp it down completely, or set it to be pretty gentle. I mean, if you're using the rack stuff, those are still available for about $100. The pedals, 100, 150, but obviously there's newer, better, cheaper on the market now.
I didn't mind running the Behringer gate. It worked a bit as a compressor, but that's okay because I'm playing metal, so you can use some compression. Oh, gee, I have more attack when I chug. Ooh, you know.
Oh, what a horrible thing.
Yeah. I'm already playing through a solid state amp. And these are the metal rules. And yes, and he's hurt. You probably did see in the thumbnail a Metal Zone, because there is Metal Zone back there somewhere. A modded Metal Zone at that. Want to buy it? Cheap? Like cheap. Basically shipping.
Anybody else hear the Josh Scott jingle right now?
He's got the box.
This one alone is worth 100, 110.
I did enjoy Josh throwing Ryan Burke under the bus in the Phaser video this week.
That was good. Good.
I need one of those shirts that's just a phase. God, I need that shirt.
I got to get the Minolta shirt in the Metallica font. I've recently discovered photography and vintage lenses and stuff.
Right.
Oh, God. Such a rabbit hole. A modern camera lens, even the cheap one's $200. For $200, you can literally buy 20 or 30 vintage lenses. Oh, no, you just have to twist it yourself to get it in focus. Looks better anyway. It's got a vintage vibe to it.
Exactly. Quentin says that's a great pedal, and
got the Space Chorus. This is a duplicate. I've already got a copy of it.
Nice. Marie Hawkins says his son uses a Decimator with a few friends with his EVH3. Works well. Nice. Yeah, hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Otherwise, Charles is going to go crazy. You don't want a Texan going crazy.
He won't do any more paper caps.
That's right. all orders. See you, Lawrence. Have a good one, my friend.
Good night,
Can't
Pedal.
wait to see what you come up with next. I honestly cannot wait.
Right?
And my sister just says blanket hellos to everybody. She can't tag everybody. She's trying, but she can't. Michael Crow says, Ben, if you're going stereo, are you going for a stereo phaser? No. I tried it. Didn't care for it. Although I've only tried one thus far. Crazy. If I get a stereo phaser, then I need a stereo in and stereo out chorus. Dang it.
Tone world problems.
Oh, man. Yeah, like that's beyond first world problems, right? That's like, that's gear junkie problems. That's what that is.
That's,
like,
I don't need it, but I need it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I need to be on one of those douche canoe tone group pages, eh? Anyone recommend a nice stereo in, stereo out chorus? Yeah, on a rack.
Yeah, in a time machine back to 1987. Yeah.
Steve Lukather, they're called. He wants your tone.
Jesus Christ, I would kill for Lukather's tone back in the day. I don't care if it was rack laden, it was all digital with some tubes in there somewhere. Good God. Anything he played on was just like
Yeah.
tone. Just tone. Tone. Hashtag tone.
Yep.
Never.
Hey, I rock Zed Blues. That's right. Presley's like, keep Sizzle happy because he's doing one of his guitars.
All right, so for a total of $500, I got the Roto machine, like new, still shiny in the box.
I see that.
The Crunch Tone, which actually has, I believe it's a blues driver, is one of the settings. So it's got to use
now who makes these again?
Line 6.
Line 6, right?
Out back in 04. It was basically.
Yeah, I was like, the housing looked familiar, and that's why I was just like, I know these, and they're actually decent, as I recall.
Some were okay. Some were just phenomenal. I mean, some
sort
of
like their 4 units,
Yeah.
It was funny. Buddy says, "Oh, Buddy's got a Line 6 4 unit." I'm like, "Oh," because I'm like waiting for the color. Everybody has the green one. I only care about the purple.
Yep, the modulation.
Right? And he's like, "Yeah, it's all the overdrives." I'm like, "Pass." Ooh.
Yeah. Then we got the Crunch Tone, the Space Chorus, the Uber Metal, the Dr. Distorto, which has kind of like a feedback setting. The Tap Tremolo, which is nice.
That is nice.
And then 2 of my favorites out of the entire series, the Delay and the Reverb. All the verbs, all the delays.
Yeah.
What's crazy is I got all these for $500, and I've got 7 of them upstairs that are on Reverb for sale right now. I'm like, I got most of these already, but these are $50 a piece. I'm gonna break even and have 3 more than I started with.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you snag stuff to flip.
Yeah, the Roto machine, this one never comes up. This is like the Leslie. It's like the high Leslie, the low Leslie, the like 1 rotor, 2 rotor. It's got all the different Leslie sounds. It's like this one alone is just. I was watching PJ and the Beard did a review on this a couple years ago.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, the way they explained it and broke it down, I could hear the differences. I was like, well, shit, that's the Creedence Clearwater sound. There's the Stevie Ray sound. I'm like, oh. And then I saw this like a week later, this whole pack pop up. I'm like, that's it. Not letting this one go. I'm not going to hem and haw and should I. And then the next day it's gone. I'm like, no. If I don't jump on this right now, it's going to be gone.
Yeah. Well, we were over at Long McQuaid one day, and they had this sitting out. It wasn't even in the pedal display. It was sitting on top. Ibanez compressor limiter, which is, it's going to be 30 years old, made in Japan, with a price of $35 on it. And I went,
really?
Yeah. And I went, okay, well, let's bring up Reverb. And I couldn't find one for under $125 plus shipping. So
I was going to say, it should have had a 1 in front of that 35.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't need this.
Yep.
But snag on it, and then I'll throw it up on Kijiji for $75 after I play with it.
I think it's Maxon's take on the Ross, which is just the Dynacomp, I think, with a little bit more variation.
Yeah, it was a little underwhelming for my needs, I guess. So, but it did a thing. It did do a thing. It pushed the 55 nicely. I will say, it did push the 55 nicely. Now, if I can get this one little piece of Velcro crap off, then we can say, oh yeah, she doesn't have Velcro on. Just she's like new, lost the box. Lost the box. Just like new, lost the receipt.
If I'm not mistaken, this is actually a fuzz face. The actual fuzz face.
Carman 45 says, I always wanted to get a Leslie. Thanks for sticking that in my head. Yep, you need one.
Well, you can't do that Stevie Ray
sound. Doesn't have.
Down. Can't do that without the Leslie sound. And that's that for $50. I'm like, fuck. It's got 7 or 8 usable sounds, not 1 or 2 like most pedals. I mean, that's like, there's not a bad sound in it.
That's the problem with a lot of the multi-pedals. It's like there's 1 or 2 usable sounds, which is okay if you can snag one of them cheap to do that one sound for that one song during a show or whatever. But you don't want to have to pay for it. Ooh.
It's only got 1 or 2 good sounds in there.
Yeah.
I opened it up. It's all analog. It's all super miniature micro. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's 8 different analog circuits, but they all kind of sound like, like
Yeah.
Behringers. Honestly, the only one that was any good was the OD drive, and even then, that's just a modded tube screamer.
Right.
This one's just it was like $15 or $20 on Guitar Center. I just bought it to fill out the collection. Plugged it in once or twice, ran through all the sounds. I'm like, yep, that's what I thought it sounded like from Shane in the Blues. You know.
And that's the other problem is I see certain lines of pedals and I'm like, well, I have 2 of them, so I guess I'm collecting them now once I see a third. Like those Ibanez lock knobs ones, the 7s back there. I got 3 of them, and there's only 7 in the series, so I might as well collect them all.
I got 4 and counting so far. I actually have a duplicate of the fuzz because it popped up for $35, and I'm like, well, shit. It'll sell for $70, $80 all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Got the fuzz Smashbox, which is surprisingly good.
I have the Smashbox, too. It does a thing.
Yeah, it's got a grit to it. It's almost like it's got like a rectifier.
You can get a Master of Puppets thing going on real quick. Even though it's not the same tone, it puts you in that head real easy.
You know what? There was definitely an 80s vibe with the bass all the way up and the highs at about, I've got the highs at like 9 o'clock, so barely up at all, and I think the low is all the way up.
Yeah.
And that sounds just so good. It's like, chugga chugga. Oh my God. Really? It's like this is like the predecessor, if I'm not mistaken, to where Josh Scott got the idea for the 3 series. Like most of these pedals
especially since I noticed he has all of them on a fucking shelf right over his left shoulder. I noticed the other day. Because I'm like, wait a minute, I know that suit because I'm like the recessed thing, so you can stack them right next to each other. And I could just tell dimensionally because it was totally fuzzed out the way his focus of his camera was, but I knew what they were.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was like there's.
Well, I also have the chorus flanger, and the chorus flanger sucks.
Ooh, really? The CF7? That's
yes.
Sorry to hear that. I've been looking for that one just to write out the series. That sucks.
It well, I've never once ever bought a chorus flanger pedal that was good. They usually have a shitty chorus and a shitty flanger, but if you get one of or the other, they're fine.
Let's see. There's a brand I came across a few months ago on Reverb called JRR Pedals. Okay. I've got 2 of their pedals right now. One is it's got 2 muff circuits in it. It's the ram's head and the triangle, and the other it's basically it's a take. I think from the website they said it was BBD flange. Basically, this is the Ibanez flanger.
Oh, nice.
And if you set the manual and the rate just right, it goes from chorus to ring mod to a flange.
Right.
It's all like tweak, tweak, tweak. Ew! Oh God! Make it stop. Tweak, tweak. Oh, ew! Oh wow! What's that? And it's that old Ibanez circuit.
Okay.
So if you ever come across one of the old Ibanez's, those are $100 plus. This is, I think I got it as a blemish on their website for $40 off the web Reverb.
Beautiful.
One in, one out.
After watching that phaser video of Josh's, I need his damn 3 series phaser now because I didn't realize I had a blend. I'm like, fuck.
Really?
Yeah.
And I've watched all the videos on those. How did I don't know.
He was using it for all of his demonstrations, and he's like, "Oh, I just turned this to this," and because they do the shameless plug, and and he's like, "Oh, I'll just put the blend here," and I'm like, "What blend? Blend? Because that's I think all pedals should have a blend option."
Yeah, because you don't always want that color. Sometimes you just want a hint, just a little flavor. Yeah. You want a dash of salt. You don't want to feel like...
to mess with all of us tone chasers, that if you have just a subtle chorus or a phaser, like dialed in, say 30% underneath, you're like, what are you doing? I hear something, but I'm not sure. And that's why you do it.
I mean, it's kind of like a Carlos Santana thing. He'll have like 3 amps going. One might have a chorus, the other 2 are, one's a little bit cleaner, one's a little grittier. then you got that chorus giving it just a little bit of swooshy, swirly movement, and it just kind of fills out and fits in the mix.
Okay, so I'm not alone. So apparently Billy Baloney has the 3 Series phaser. It's killer. Good to know. The Series 3 were 80-ish last weekend. Dang it. Ron House of Bane says, I watched that JHS phaser video and said the same thing. I need the Series 3 phaser. Yep. Hobo Roadie says cheaper to buy than modifying the Boss. Good to know.
You got the 3 Series Fuzz. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hall Reverb. Holy shit. Damn it. I didn't want to love this pedal as much as I did. I watched the 60 cycle hum video and Ryan was like, does it go forever? Does it just keep going? I'm like, God damn it. Oh, I don't want to give Josh $100, but I gotta have that.
That's how I got it. Plate reverbs. That was my guilty thing. Like once I bought Lawrence's, what the hell is that called? The Cascade reverb? Yeah. And I went, oh, damn. Because all I've ever used is, onboard reverb.
Right.
Very little reverb pedals. And if then it's like, well, I'll just use a spring reverb and dial in a bit of it. But no. Oh, now I'll have all the reverb and all the delay with the Halo. Jesus.
Yeah, have one side doing dotted eights, the other side doing double triplets, chorus on one, flange on the other.
Yep. Sure.
Right. If you
I've been running 2 choruses at once lately because my main chorus, the rate is set next to nothing. Just spatial, very Eddie Van Halen Diver Down era, next to no movement. And then I actually have a chorus to run into that chorus if you want a chorus effect. More chorus. But it's great because it really shelves the frequencies and gives you that
more chorus
mid-focused on the cleans, almost like a compressor would. I went, oh, I like this. So yeah, I'm stacking choruses now. So that's my thing.
Stacking muffs. I've been getting into that a little bit. Mm-hmm. You dirty bastards. Not in that way. Set one for like a clean boost, pushing into another muff. It just fills it out a lot more. Otherwise, they're just so damn over the top as soon as you hit.
Oh, we lost Gear Junkie. Hopefully he'll reconnect. I think he'll reconnect. Guitar Man 45. So is the JHS phaser better than the MXR one? Well, see, the Phase 90 is the industry standard. So I will say, you got to have your Phase 90. Well, actually, I'm using a Phase 90 post gain because I have the Phase 95 set to Phase 90 post gain. But I'm actually running a Phase 45 out front. Also, the TC Third Dimension is a great chorus. I have one of them, unfortunately, mono. So, a chorus of choruses, choruses. Chorusi? Choruses. Chorusi. No. Choruses. Choruses. Yes. Yeah, well, actually, I wondered. VHS 3 series. For Canada. Where can I get one of them in Canada? Not direct from JHS. As he keeps juggling tabs here. Oh, well, the Long and McQuaid has them. Of course they do. They have everybody's stuff. I don't want the fuzz. 123.75 Canadian. Really? Really? They're all the same price, aren't they? They are. Huh. Really? I may have to order one of them. See, BC Rich just ordered Proco Rat Tail, that guitar cable with the rat tone circuit and the 2 preset switch wallet. Yeah, cool. What's up, Travis? Alright, let's see here. They don't have the phaser listed. Well, they got more pages, that's why. I don't think I own any JHS pedals. Oh, he's got a flanger too? Dang it. We'll start with the phaser and go from there. 123, all right. Know that. It's going to be either neat or an audio abomination. I'm going with audio abomination. You probably want to run that directly into an amp, too, I'd assume. Travis just got Reaper 6 running on a spare computer. Cool. Boomer has the JHS Rat Pack. Yep. Is it better than the original? I don't know, but they say they were like most pedals of the day, inconsistent. That's true. And it's all the flavors of the rats. Billy has 4 JHS pedals on his board. Nice. Correct, sir. I assume he's playing an interact. Okay, we got that. Careful, you'll give Lawrence an idea of chorus stacked. Yeah, true. He discontinued his chorus, though, so we shall see. We shall see. We got 57 people watching. Keith Campbell's always starts with the Phase 90 after his tuner. Well, you like the stripe-based music. That's the biggest reason people put phasers out front, I swear. If it wasn't for Eddie, I like one or the other. What's your pedal count this week? Just one. I only got one this week. One went out the door, and one came in. I sold one on Tuesday, and then I got the one on Thursday. I'm still here, Terry. And apparently a stable connection, too, which is really weird. Try not to move too much. Just reminding you that you left the volume pod on the soldering station. Thanks, Charles. Appreciate it, buddy. The JHS 3 Series distortion is basically a rat. Yeah. What's the flanger? That's what I want to know. Oh, back sore. Stiff. Oh. How's the one that Charles sent me? Great. It's still on the board. I don't know if it's going to make a permanent stay on the board, but it's a for now. For now. On the board. For now. Strain of the day. Power plant. Power plant. It's not powerful, but it's power plant. Well, it does the job. It's okay. Speaking of which, we'll partake in some. I suggest you join me. It makes the show much more entertaining. You only need a Proco Rat 2. All the so-called new and improved. Rip the nasty soil out of them. Well, Paul, although we like the 109 distortion. I think that's what it's called these days, isn't it? Is mine? No, mine's back off the board. Mine's back up on the shelf because the embers. We went back to Klon territory. Lifestyle choices. Exactly, Charles. Exactly. Oh, he's back. He's back. It's all good. We're just talking pedals. Oh, we have no sound now. Hang on. Maybe just try jumping out and jumping back in again. Sometimes that helps. I don't know. Northern Lights, Billy, is Canadian style. That was the 90s. Bubblegum, nice. Black Cookie, nice. What's up, Hip? I thought I enabled something that's supposed to play a chime when people come in. I'm not hearing squat. Oh, look, you all fancy, sis. Harsh and sizzly. Good to know. What's next, Michael Krause? You also forgot he does the all the tube screamers. Was it the Bonsai was all the tube screamers? You nodded, so I don't know if we have audio. Oh, you turned off your camera. I don't know how that worked. I didn't do it. My hands are back here. But I thought I heard something. We have audio.
No, we're halfway there. Hey, Hitman. One of these days I'll get a real camera that actually, well, I've got a Canon T3i, but the Canon software is not so great. It kind of cuts out after about half an hour.
Apparently. Oh. EOS webcam utility. I don't know what that means. I didn't put that up, folks. I like that. That's like the card at the like technical difficulties. Do. Oh, now it disconnected. We'll keep going. And y'all get anything new this week that we haven't already discussed? Just curious. Oh, beautiful day on the island, Hep. Thanks for rubbing that in. Yeah, it was all the gray. EOS is Canon software. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate that. Let's see. I did not know that. Scott's saying a bunch of FXs there. I'm not. I can't tell. But now we're back over onto this cam and see how this works.
All right, take 5.
All right. Yep. We have audio. We have video.
Good enough. Try to be all fancy with a higher tech webcam. Forget it. Don't need to be high tech. It's pedals.
Yeah. That's why we like analog.
Yeah.
Hey, Patrick. It says sunny and 26 in central Alberta today. Ooh, that's warm.
It's about 80 and it's been raining all day in Kenosha, southernmost part of Wisconsin. It's spit and pretty much hit Illinois from here.
Yeah, it threatened to rain all day. Thought about it. Like, it's all the humidity. That's why I was going to actually work on the Kramer today, because Pete Thorne was on super early today, or normal time because he was in Germany. I'm not sure. But yeah, Charles had texted me. He's like, hey, Pete's live and you're missing it. But I had already woken up like apparently a minute and a half earlier because I was making coffee, and then I saw they had texted me like 3 minutes earlier. So I jumped on, I caught the end of that. But then I thought, yeah, I'll work on the Kramer. And then all the humidity and the dampness kicked in and my hands went, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm like, okay, I'm not. I guess not. So, see you, sis. Good night, Sam.
Night, Miss Amanda. Pushing 50, I feel the pain. It's cold. Yeah, unless it's, nice and warm, the humidity's just right. It's like there's at least a few that are just creaking and talking. More like talking back.
Oh, yeah. Bo just said rain's on the way. Of course it is. Of course it is. Feel it. See, customer picked up a vintage cream hardtail Strat SSH, but single coil sized humbucker. Nice. Tortoise guard, maple neck, maple board. Hated to see it go. Wow, it sounds like a nice build, Presley. Very nice. I have to check out those links too, Hep. I forgot about that.
Yeah, check out Dwight's 2 new songs he dropped yesterday.
I have not checked that out yet. I have to check that out. That's on my shopping list.
Oh my, list of about 300 things to do.
I'm still tripping out over watching Charles' latest build he did there, the Meteora, because I don't know what he did with the frame rates and the camera, but his table's shaking the whole time, but the wood grain isn't. It was the trippiest thing ever. The way it was recorded and digitized and uploaded the whole time, it was like you would swear the guitar was green screened. Because I'm looking at this bare wood guitar, and the table's just jiggling while he's sanding, except the wood grain's not moving, and I'm just, ooh, much after a while. Yeah, I thought I was gonna have to take a break halfway through because.
Is he using a webcam, cell phone, or like an actual camera?
I have no idea. What are you using, Charles? He says he's got it mounted over the table, and he usually keeps a foot on one of the legs to keep it from jiggling so much. I don't know about that. Yeah. What's up, Hog Rotten? Patrick's west of Edmonton. So, hills. This isn't Oh no, that's more Calgary. If you look to the west, it's just there's the Rockies right there, pretty much.
It was just about a couple days ago at work. I was listening to. There's a guy named Mr. Ballin who does strange, dark, and mysterious, true life, fucked up stuff that happens to people. And one of the stories, there was like the Edmonton killer from like the 70s or 80s. It was like one of his stories he was going on about. It's like, wow, there's really that many square miles and that few people in Canada? Holy shit.
Well, they're up north. Nobody wants to live up north. It's cold. That's why 90% of the population is all hunkered down right along the border. We're basically on the same latitude, right? And we're just like, this is okay. This is 4 seasons. Yeah, I can handle it.
We'll take this.
Yeah. Yeah, you just go north, it's just more bugs. Just nature. Like a lot of nature. All the nature. Gets a bit much. That's why Pete Thorne left. Exactly. Yep. Charles says cell phone on an arm attached to the table. Yeah, we need to get you a separate tripod. Well, then again, you think it would be all moving in unison, but it wasn't. It was weird. It's weird. It's very weird.
I know there's an editing trick in Adobe Lightroom where you can even if you got a wobbly video, you can set like a center point and it'll like crop down a little bit.
Right.
And remove, so it's like pretty much dead stationary.
I think, that's way like a lot of the GoPros work now and stuff with stabilization. I think that's, they're like, we have onboard stabilization. No, you're just cropping your image. That's what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, you got a 4K that crops down to 2.7K, which really, I mean, YouTube crops it down to 1080 anyway. So
exactly. It's like, they're like, do you want to upload in 4K? I'm like, no, because I want to have this upload within 3 days. I'm on DSL. I cannot upload in 4K on DSL. That's
not within a reasonable amount of time anyway.
Yeah.
Any more word on if you guys are getting the fiber?
Well, see, I talked to the neighbor and he disagrees. However, I saw the company, what are they called? Telecom. So I looked them up on the old, digital machine. I'm like, what do you do? And they're like, well, we find stuff underground for other companies. I was like, okay. And they're out there with the little flags going, hello, we're gas lines. I'm like, okay. And they're going along the road. I was like, okay, well, the road, it's due to be resurfaced. Makes sense. Mark the gas lines. Check before you dig. Makes sense. But then they started walking into the yard and they're like towards the house. And I'm thinking, I don't think we need, you never hear them replacing gas lines, and it's not that old an area. I'm like, why? I'm like, unless you're going to run the fiber parallel to the gas lines. That's the only reason I could think of why you'd be marking out gas lines going to the home. And so hopefully, because it is mandated in the province, we're all supposed to have real internet by the end of 2023, 2024. I don't know what it is, but I'm like, good luck with that, because that's previous conversation. North, what are you doing for them? Unless you're signing them all up for Elon's Starlink, that's the only way that's going to work. You're going to run fiber through the woods? Oh, okay. No. So, I don't know how they're doing that. Billy says my fiber comes from the pole. Well, I don't know. So I'm hoping, between government mandate and people spray painting my lawn, I'm hoping maybe this year. I don't know. Yeah, Patrick says maybe road work. Yeah, but why the extra line? I understand along the road, but why through the yard? Unless you're digging up my yard.
Yeah, that kind of hints toward hey, there's a prize at the end of this. They're dangling the stick on you.
Oh yeah. As the YouTuber, I'm like, please, sir, please install some fiber.
Please, may I have high speed?
Because this stretch, nobody lives here. There's 10 houses and half a dozen businesses along a mile. So it'll be all the bandwidth until they put a subdivision in behind us somewhere. But until that time, it'll be all the bandwidth. Because they run 2 trunk lines north-south on either end of this road. It's over there. It's over there. I can barely get a cell signal right here.
Damn. Damn. So close.
Oh,
So close.
Extreme Edition or Extreme Edison Edition. Jesus, I need new glasses too. They could be mapping the lines for updated information. Well, that's just not why you just pop the bubble. It's true though. Yeah, why leave the flags behind? That's a check. That means they're going to dig.
That's for
Maybe
the
they're
next
putting in a new gas line. Maybe I should be more concerned rather than hopeful. Because if they're putting in a new gas line, that means it needs to be replaced. Because companies just don't replace stuff for the sake of mazel replace it. They don't do that.
We know it's aging and deteriorating. Let's just go preemptive and spend $30 million replacing this line now. No.
Or we could all have new Corvettes. I vote new Corvettes.
Yeah. Sounds like the company I work for. Jesus.
Patrick says my internet is cellular due to being so rural. Exactly. That's a lot of it is cellular, quasi-satellite-y. Like, it's weird. It's like, oh, you satellite down, but cellular up. Like, oh, great. Yeah. And I did qualify for Starlink, but yeah, that's like way more money than I'm paying now, like 4 times the amount of money.
No, unless they're going to give you 10 times the internet, the cost versus return just doesn't seem.
Yeah, it was like 10 times the bandwidth, we'll say, at least upload. Hey, Sandra, and so that's good, but weather dependent. Like I've had satellite TV for years, and I know during solar flares or heavy snowstorms, like you don't have a connection. So then that means my whole channel is weather dependent for the live streams, and I can't have that.
No.
I need the hardwired. So
not to self-destruct.
Yeah.
Which was a surprisingly good album for a bunch of guys in their mid-50s.
Hey, Christopher Live Sour.
Ron House of Bacon. That's a new name, I think. Huh?
Well, and I figure I fight it out. Like, unlike the U.S., like we love monopolies in Canada because it's like we're lucky to have it. So you get one of everything. You have one hardline phone company. You have one cable company. You have, it's one or the other. So you don't see any real competition, but except for internet, because Bell does my internet now and they do our phones. Cogeco is our TV provider because they do a hardline TV connection, both of which offer internet. Both are going fiber. I'm like, well, one of y'all need to run a fiber line. So
it's like up here, just about any of your service providers can pretty much venture into being more than just one of your service providers. It's like I've got Spectrum for internet, and they offer cellular. It's like $30 a line, unlimited data, unlimited talk and text. It's like, yeah, but if I move out of this particular area, my coverage is not so great because it's a regional area. It's not like they're piggybacked as part of Sprint or AT&T where they're bouncing off these cell towers nationwide. They've got the signal coverage. It's like here you can do that. It's like your Boost Mobile you've got 100 different things for cell phones. You've got your big 3 or 4, and then they all have subsidiaries that they've bought up over the last 15, 20 years.
Exactly.
The U.S. cellular
fully absorb because then they become monopolies.
Yes.
So they're all run at arm's length. Sure they are.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Sprint. Sprint and T-Mobile joined up about a year and a half ago. And between them, they've got like 5 or 6 sub-brands just between those two companies.
Mm-hmm.
AT&T's got a few. Verizon's got a few. Then you've got, your legacy brands, your AT&T, your Verizon, your T-Mobile, Sprint, U.S. Cellular, which was kind of a Midwest here in the U.S. They disappeared for like 10 years. They're back. It's probably just another subsidiary. Somebody bought the name, licensed it up. That's why there was such a big push for TV to go digital 10 years ago. 2 years after TV went digital, hello 4G. It
Right.
was the same frequency bands. It
Yeah.
was the
It
same.
was all of a sudden we need more bandwidth because we're offering more services. Well,
Mhm.
this is how we do it. Yeah.
And the government, I don't know, up there, how Canadian government does it, but down here, the government just saw that as a huge, $1 billion paycheck. Well, why is nobody giving me money for these bandwidths? Well, it's because you still have them licensed to the TV companies from 40-year-old contracts that are about to expire. Oh shit, that's expiring in 2 years. Hey everybody, we're going digital. We're going to get you antennas. Please make this as easy as possible because we want
Yeah.
that paycheck. We'll spend a couple $100 million on these shitty antennas that don't work, so everybody can get their free TV. And now all of a sudden, Jim Bob, Billy Bo out in the middle of nowhere, rural nothing. And I know all about that because I grew up in the middle of nothing on a 400-acre tobacco farm in Virginia. Yeah, everybody's got the service now. Your cell phone company can be your internet. It's
Yeah.
like in 5 years, 10 years, honest to God, I think Google and Facebook and Amazon are going to be the Time Warner, ABC, NBC, CBS.
Exactly.
They'll be gone. They
Yeah.
will all be subsidiaries. Bezos is going to own the fucking TV. He's going to own the radio. I mean, there's going to be 3 companies that own everything.
Because it's the modern industrial revolution overhead. They are the Henry Fords, the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts. Because, yeah,
Too big to fail.
Google is the Standard Oil of of this century in many ways. So, it's like, yeah.
And due to us, everybody having gotten so used to consumerism and everything's a click away. Everything's a click away at the expense of, your neighbor down the street who used to have that shop downtown.
Yeah, one that actually fixed stuff.
Closed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now nobody fixes
Now
it.
you just order a new one off Amazon.
The last one broke. Throw it away.
Yeah.
No. Don't eat it. Jeez, upcycle something, anything.
Well, that was like, what was it? When I needed the part for the mower, I went around, I went to the big box stores. They're like, no, we just sell the lawnmowers. We don't service them. I'm like, wait, what? Because I'll be honest, it's been a minute since I bought a ride, but it used to be you'd go and they had a service department, even if it was a Lowe's or something. And it could be as so much as just a loading dock where Bob's Fix It down the road actually does the service. But, but the image is there. What's up, Mad Raj? And they couldn't help me, so I'm like, fine. I'm going to go out to this place out at the edge of town. Been there forever and a day. It's literally looks like it is a converted house with the whole front yard just covered in lawnmowers, and the garage is converted into the showroom. You walk back. First thing I see is the metal container with the invoices that you pull out when you're done. I'm like, yes, all right. And I'm like, and I'm just one like many dudes standing there with a rusty part in my hand, going, I need one of these. Couldn't tell you what the part, And he literally, I'm like, I need one of these. He reached behind him, pulled it off a peg. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit I miss. That's the shit I miss.
I'm like, thank you. I'm like, I don't care what the price is. Like, if it costs twice as much as Amazon, fine.
Exactly. I don't have to pay for it. I'm keeping the money here. It's in the community. You know what you're doing. You've cultivated this. You had this part for 17 years, waiting for somebody to come in here and buy it. And today, that's me.
Well, yeah, and it was like there was 2 of them or something, like the one's longer and the other the cable, and but like the guy needed the oddball one, and he brought both out, and he's like, put the other one back, and he hadn't put it back yet or whatever. I'm like, okay. I was like, I get it, because they rust out because we are in that climate, where stuff rusts regardless of it. Oh no, it's just lawn trek. Doesn't matter. Everything rusts. So, and then fixed it in 5 minutes. I was happy, and boom. The other guy I went to, he's like, well, I need to know what the part number is off the lawnmower. I'm like, oh, you mean that decal that was sun bleached 20 years ago? I couldn't tell you.
Nope. There's a bunch of places like that up here.
Keith Campbell says, I want to know when NASCAR is going to get cell service at the tracks. Yeah, you would have thought of Sprint as a title sponsor, right? Just saying. But if they would have had, better. But all the tracks are built out in rural areas, so are you going to put in a bunch of cell towers to allow the bandwidth of 100,000 people for 1, maybe 2 weekends a year. No, they won't.
Yeah, a lot of smart farmers up here are doing that now. He's like, we can literally. I'm in the city of Kenosha. I can literally drive 3 minutes, farms, and there's $1 million cell tower, and that guy's getting paid like 10, 15 grand a year for that ugly ass cell tower to sit in his yard.
Yep.
Smart.
It's smart.
Singular.
Carol says my AC went out. The summer AC tech wanted to replace my whole system for $8 grand. I said the hell with that, and ordered the part I needed and repaired it in 20 minutes. Right?
What was it? They had the flame sensor. When the flame kicks on, it heats up this piece, and then once it hits a certain temperature, it relays the signal down to something else to turn off, and then to kick on main fan. But if that little heat relay doesn't work, it'll run for 2 minutes, shut off. 2 minutes, shut off. Had that happen a few times.
Oh, yeah. Because I remember when Sears had a service department. Damn straight. Sears had a damn near, their automotive department, they had a fairly extensive automotive department.
Once upon a time, yeah.
With a parts counter. Even Walmart had one until recently, but they got rid of that. At least around here.
Yeah, it's because they bought Advance Auto.
Oh, is that why?
Yep. Advance Auto is Walmart's little side project.
Oh, okay.
It's doing
Which
pretty well.
has an unintended consequence for like Walmart Canada when also they just bricked over basically automotive part. I'm like, I used to be able to get my tires changed here and shit. Like, what the hell happened?
Like, wasn't this an oil change? What did they get my oil change?
I'm like, when I worked for Napa, I delivered parts here. What the hell? And yeah, it's gone. We don't acknowledge that anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. Fine.
Now, there's so much that, so many parts of, I don't know, it used to be a cultural thing, it used to, Woolworths in America, well before Walmart became popular. Woolworth they had everything. They had medicine counter, they had the candy shop. I never saw.
They were a department store that wasn't multi-level. It was like your Kmart, but better.
Yeah. People
not so discounty, like we just unloaded off the truck and threw it right out on the floor.
Yeah. People were like, what do you actually need? What are you trying to do? It was like, I remember there was one on the north side of Chicago on Devon Avenue for any Chicagoans here. It was up on the north side by Devon and Western, 2 or 3 blocks off of Western. And it was, even then, this was, I want to say, I was probably 3 or 4 when I was here in the early 80s. I was late 70s. And I remember being in the Woolworth and just thinking at the time how everything looked old fashioned. And I remember my grandmother talking to several people at the store, and it was such a different experience from where I was at the time, which was rural farm in Virginia, 400-acre tobacco farm.
Right.
And it was just like, wow, all these people know her at the store. It was like, you just don't see that anymore, where you can walk in and the familiarity, hey, Tom, hey, Cindy, hey, Joe. It's just not like that anymore, unless it's, the parts store, McDonald's or Starbucks or your barista, it was more of a,
definitely the community aspect of things.
Yeah. It's unfortunately, as we've become more commercialized and got to have it now, that slipped away.
Yeah. This is true. What I see there? I don't think we still have Sears in Canada. Somebody asked about Sears. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Well, the Sears is gone. They're actually currently renovating that part of the mall again. The Sears has been a party store the last couple Halloweens.
That's what happens to the circuit cities down here.
Yeah.
Actually working on fleshing out a collection of Sears camera lenses. They didn't make them, obviously. They had another company make them, but
right.
Sears, Montgomery Ward, JCPenney, they all had their line of camera lenses, but the Sears were, the early ones from the mid-late 60s were just as good.
Well, that was like, to equate like the music business, you had your buyers that would go out to like the NAMM shows of consumer products, and pick up various store brands,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it was just whatever manufacturer, say out of Japan, they're like, yeah, we'll ghost build it for you. We don't care. We're still selling it. We don't care if our logo's on it or yours. It's,
Yeah. How many do you want? How many? Yeah. How many do you need? And what tier do you want?
yeah. Yeah, it's someone. Oh, I got a regional chain of stores. We're in 18 states and blah blah blah. Perfect. Bring it on. And then you sell the exact same item to another regional chain somewhere else.
Yeah, it was like Gibson did, like Trogly's always talking about. Gibson did when they started doing that in the early 2000s. Oh, you need a run of 10? Sure. It's just a Les Paul standard, but it's $200 less because it was a custom run for that store.
Yep.
It's like, wait, what? Wait, you put more into it because you had to give it a special paint job and you charge less for it? You price gouge, sons of bitches. But when you control the market, you can do that.
Yep. Ron, I miss Radio Shack as well because you could just go in there and buy components. Let alone all the amount of what we thought was all cheap crap.
Probably won't be able to read this, but Radio Shack.
Nice.
Got these with a pedal board I bought about a year ago. Got 5 or 6 pedals and a bunch of foot-long cables. I'm like, oh, those old Radio Shack cables? Yes! Keeping those.
Yeah, they shifted into what? The Source. But the Source is like a shitty Best Buy. It's just like, I don't know.
Source
Like I
audio?
walk in there and I feel like I'm in an Amway store or something. I'm like, this seems like an electronics store, but it doesn't seem like an electronics store for some reason.
It looks like it's supposed to look like. It's like, is this a movie set or something? It's close, but not quite right.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, and it's in a mall, but nobody buys electronics in the mall. Like, nobody buys electronics in the mall. I don't even know what you buy at the mall anymore. I go there for cell phones every few years. That's the only reason I go to the mall, basically.
Yeah, there's no reason to go to the mall anymore.
Well, technically, I go to the mall because there's the Shoppers Drug Mart at the mall, but I use their own entrance, so I don't actually go into the mall proper, I guess. I don't know. Technically, I'm in the mall, but I'm not in the mall.
Real quick, I have a question for anybody here that's watching tonight or in the replay on a question for audio stuff. Is anybody here familiar with Reaper, and are they especially good with using Reaper? I could use a consultation. Try to put
I tried using Reaper I used Reaper. When was that? 2012? 2013? So it's been a minute, so I am no help at all. It's installed on the old computer still, I think.
See, I'm trying to do a thing where I can basically plug direct into the interface, record that as a dry track, go out into a pedal, record, then have that pedal go back out into another pedal, so I can record 4 or 5 things at one time as separate tracks. I mean, I can set up the different tracks. I'm just having a hard time bouncing. Okay, track 1, just drop. Track 2 is just this.
D-Max says Glenn Fricker's channel has lots of Reaper stuff.
Yeah, Glenn Fricker's got a ton of stuff, and Adam Steele from Hot Pole.
Okay.
Reaper Mania, too. My guy by the name of Kenny Joya. I was just thinking if anybody here knows like how to set up multiple tracks for reamping.
He tries and uses Reaper. Great DAW.
I want to set up like...
Travis says you need a 1/4-inch splitter. Okay.
Okay, like a TRS.
Reaper earlier. Hippie says check Padded Pedal Room or Ian Luckett. They use Reaper and do stuff on it. There we are.
Okay.
A couple members of the community.
Richard, I think you're right. Yeah, about 15, 20 years ago, I think.
Somebody mentioned Spencer's. Yeah, you go to the mall for... I check out Spencer's because they have retro shirts that I'm like, well, I had one in high school, so I guess it's retro. And then I think the funniest was one of the last times I actually went in the mall. I wanted to buy some like concert shirts for my sister and other people for Christmas gifts. So I went to what I thought was the HMV record store, but turns out HMV went out of business 2 years earlier, and Tower Records now has a location there in the same spot or something like that. Sunrise Tower. I don't know. Some fucking I don't know. But see, they're smart. They just put the same fucking store with it. They just changed the logo out front, maybe painted the walls. I don't know. All the same crap inside, and so I was fine with that. So yeah, Spencer still exists. At least they got one over there, I think. Assuming.
I still see them every once in a while. They used to be in every mall. Now it's just 1 in 3. But the goth kids have to get their Green Day shirts somewhere.
Yeah, I was getting some retro Canadian shirts in there, so I thought it was cool. That's where I got my Mr. Dress Up shirt. My problem is they don't have a lot of medium-sized T-shirts. They all seem to be large XLs. I'm like, no! Some of us are mediums. I like T-shirts that fit. I want my seam on my shoulder. That's the way I am. Keith says there's a Spencer's in San Diego. There we are.
Yeah, that's that's the thing, is setting up all the different live tracks and then what's coming back in on what bus. And I don't even know if what I'm trying to do is possible without getting an interface that's got like 5 inputs, 5 outputs, or more. So I'm trying to basically reamp multiple tracks at the exact same time. If I have to do it the old-fashioned way, one at a time, I will. But I just thought if there
okay, Keith and I are in agreement. He goes, "Thank you, Ben. Shirts that fit exactly." I do not. They don't. My cuffs don't need to touch my elbows. I'm just saying. You know, I did that in high school briefly, a few years in high school, but everybody was wearing oversized clothing.
I don't think I ever, Mr. Anderson 59, don't think I ever made it there, but I remember when it closed, it was a really big deal in Chicago. It was like the passing of the torch, the end of an era, Tower Records has closed.
That was like when the original Sam the Wrecking Man closed in Canada. It was 4 floors. The A&A Records, that was the other competing chain in Canada in malls. Their flagship store was like 2 doors down from Sam's on Yonge Street in Toronto. It was really weird. And now they were both bought up, and I think they're part of Ryerson University or something. But they had the big neon signs. Like Sam the Wrecking Man had a giant fucking record, like 2 stories tall, rotating 24/7 in neon on the front of the building. It was awesome.
Damn.
And then I was in there shifting through records on the 3rd floor, and I look up, I'm like, there's Sam, like this old dude, like who owned the chain. I'm like, that's Sam the Wrecking Man. Like that's the man. I still have a Sam the Wrecking Man shirt because the last remaining Sam the Wrecking Man is in that mall. And fun fact, they actually sell records again. Way overpriced. I will not pay like $60 for a vinyl or something ridiculous. What? Oh yeah, they just charge through the nose. I was just like, whatever. I'm like, do you actually sell any of these?
To the cork sniffing kids in ironic clothing. Yeah. Honestly, I remember when the records first started coming back, about 10 years ago. I had a job 5-6 years ago I was working inside of Best Buy, not for Best Buy, but just inside Best Buys. And I started seeing the records come back, $10, $12. I'm like, that's insane. Those are the same prices they were in 1988.
Yeah, that seems low.
Then.
Yeah, that seems way too low.
I think that was when they first started hitting, and then that was before Jack White started talking about getting his record company actually printing records again, and it was just this big explosion over the last 5 years. And the prices have literally doubled, and the process is the same. It's still the same vinyl. I mean, the same machines, nothing's changed, same technology. It's just more popular. It's
I do believe modern vinyl is they press it thinner, so it is lighter overall. So you may have to swap out needles if you're using a vintage turntable.
Yeah.
Or so I've heard. Same as you shouldn't play vintage vinyl on a modern turntable unless you swap out to a vintage style needle.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Because one will just, they'll just grind on it or something. I don't know. Like, that's fine. I have vintage vinyl and I have a vintage record player. Well, it was new when I bought it. From a Radio Shack, and they had just taken them off and they hadn't sent it back to the warehouse yet. They're like, yeah, we don't even know if we have the box for it, and that's why we haven't sent it back yet, because it was the single floor model that was left. I was like, you want to sell it? They're like, sure. Because it wasn't totally digitized where it wasn't out of the system, so they couldn't sell it. You know, they're like, all right. It's like, all right. They're like, there's no warranty. I'm like, does it work? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, fine. Okay. You know, like, as long as, like, I'm like, how about this? If something wrong, I'll bring it back today. They're like, fine. You know, like, that, whatever. You know, I'm like, I don't care. Give me store credit. I'll be back for fucking batteries anyways. God damn it. You know? Oh, they're heavier now. Is that the way it is, Billy? I don't know. Maybe
I do remember starting to see a couple years ago. The gram width is like part of the packaging now. It's like 17 songs, 207 grams or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's amazing how short certain albums were back in the day. Like, some albums were just over half an hour. That's what they were. 7 tracks.
Rain and Blood. Rain and Blood. Now listen to that Friday. Listen to it twice in under an hour.
Nice.
That snare crack right at the end of Jesus Saves, right before the ring kicks in for Rain and Blood. Oh, that snare crack is giving me chills for 25 years. So good. Love Dave Lombardo. God, it's like the John Bonham of metal.
Ace Frehley is releasing a box set on cassette. Then you got to get a cassette player, don't you?
Cassette.
I have cassette players. I don't know if they work or not.
I still got cassettes. Nothing to play them on, though.
Ah, yes. Like a true Canadian, Symmetry says most of my hats come from a case of beer. Shirts, too. No. All my hats and shirts now just come from gear companies. And Flipside. Flipside Music, Lawrence, and Tesi. That's it. That's where most of my wardrobe comes from.
It's my favorite pick right now.
Nice. They're nice.
It's good old Jazz 3. It's so grippy. And Jesus Christ, I'm just... But the tip hasn't worn down at all. Even the Jazz 3, the nylon ones, start to wear down after a while. This one, nope.
What's up, Jeff K? Billy Baloney has a cassette deck in his garage. That's what I did. I think I ended up taking my old Ghetto Blaster out into the garage and leaving it out there at the old house. It might still be in there. I don't know. I left it with the house. So I'm like, this thing probably still doesn't work.
Next time I'm at the thrift store, I'm going to have to see if there's a Ghetto Blaster somewhere. You still see them every once in a while.
You do. You do.
Last one I had, I think, was in Iowa, AIWA. Had the 3-disc changer on the top, the double cassette. I mean, the big square, weighed about 30 pounds. Speaker sounded like ass.
I can't remember what brand mine was.
No, thanks, Keith Campbell. Buzzface.
Nice.
My girlfriend got it for me for Christmas. I think she got it off Etsy. Tempted to buy another one just because I like it so much.
It's always nice wearing stuff like that in public because most people have no clue. And then every once in a while, somebody like, hey. You're like, hey. We probably browsed each other's Craigslist ads.
XC443217 at gmail.com. Oh, Craigslist, man. Even 5 years ago, Craigslist wasn't quite thriving, but it was still alive.
Yeah.
Now it's on frickin' life support. Oh my God. What about you, community? What do you guys think?
You hit me.
Anybody still got a good Craigslist like it was 5 years ago? I mean, I would go to Chicago, musical instruments, and there would literally it would time out. There was like 20 pages, and then it would just
Right.
stop. Now it's
Yeah.
like 6.
Yeah, it's hard to say around here too, because like with Kijiji, we're not that populated. So like depending on the cert, but even then, and then it's weird because if I allow Kingston, which is 100,000 people, you'll get a bit more. But on the other hand, it depends because all it takes is one kid that had the ultimate pedal board going into university and went broke. Then he starts parting out all this boutique stuff, no boxes, and that's how I'm like, you're parting out a pedal board because you want to eat. I can tell because nobody has this gear that doesn't have the box because it seems like every boutique pedal always has the box on the used market.
Yep.
For the most part. It may have Velcro on it, but it has the box.
No, you're going to pay that much money. You're holding on to the fucking box.
Yeah.
$200 box.
Yeah. And they're tone chasers. If it's got Velcro on a boutique pedal and you're selling a boutique pedal, you're a tone chaser. Okay.
Yeah. You're either paying a bill, putting food on the table, or that's being replaced with another pedal. And it's fun.
Yeah. Although I do enjoy it when the guy our age decides to take the dip into the digital world. And he's like, I love my Helix. That's it. And then
I'm selling all my...
I was in at Long and McQuaid one day, and my guy Travis comes in and goes, "Do you want to see a bunch of cool Boss pedals?" I'm like, I don't think there is such a thing, but sure. Whatever. And I look, and there's sitting on the counter, there's a stack of like 8 Boss boxes. I'm like, oh. And it was all made in Japan stuff. And then, of course, I found the single DOD. And I went, how much? Because he was about to put them out in the case. And he looked it up and he's like, I forget what it was. What was that? The DOD Tape Echo. And he's like, oh, it's like $60. And I look it up on Reverb and I'm like, that should have a 1 in front of it. I will take it.
Nice.
It's not good, but that's okay.
Doesn't have to be good. It's just worth more than I paid.
It's the year of the Dodd. It doesn't matter. It was a Dodd acquisition, which we were up to 7 now.
Nice.
2 on the board, and where's the others over there? 4, 4, 5, 7. What's up, Mark?
Let's see. I got the envelope filter. I got the 250 reissue. The meat box, just cause.
Oh, that's a good one, I hear.
I don't have it on there, but I do have the actual battery cover.
Okay.
This is Ingvan box right here.
That's the Craigslist listing. Honestly, got the battery cover, left it at my mom's house.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I got the battery cover over here. But yeah, that's one of those ones that's, I don't know. I never really, for nostalgia's sake, I wanted to start collecting the DODs. Just, I never really found any that the tone was like, oh, damn, that's good, that's good. Yeah, there were
no, exactly. It's as much for hilarity. You plug it in, and you're like, who gave the okay for this circuit? Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, how is this usable? In what situation is this pedal ever usable?
Yeah.
God love it. I have the Octave. It's been on basically every pedal board I've owned since I've been playing for 30 years. It doesn't track worth shit. But if you mix it in underneath, it does a thing. It's almost like a resonance control. I really dig it. But it was the secret sauce to my tone when I played metal. I was like, how the fuck are you getting that heaviness? Because they're like, I got a MXR full bore metal. It doesn't sound like that. I'm like, no, because I dial in a fucking octave under it.
Yeah.
But that's heavy. I'm like, it's what I do. I'm playing in drop C. Isn't that the point?
Yep.
So,
well, plus at that point, unless you've got something to really reinforce it, you're just you're in mud territory.
Yeah, and I was playing basically a Les Paul on the neck pickup with that tone too.
Oh shit! Fighting the
Like,
mud.
oh, it was all the mud. All the mud.
Mississippi mud.
Waist deep. Waist deep. Like, yeah. Call a tow truck. We're not getting out of this.
God, muddiest guitar I ever had was after the show, guys. Go look this shit up. Squire sub dash sonic baritone. They made him for one fucking year. They made him for Mars Music. 27-inch neck through baritone.
Oh.
Thump for fucking days. But they had,
No,
the garbage pickups and electronics, so it sounded like ass. But on the neck pickup, just like a dump truck of just fucking mud. Both ears just, you'd feel it. It was so bass heavy. It resounded. Oh, that's one of the ones that got away. That's truly one of the ones that got away. I had it for a year and had to sell it. And allegedly, the guy from Chevelle ended up with it.
Allegedly. Dan, New Jersey said, you may have pointed DOD was the Behringer of its time. Kind of in many ways.
Yeah. Let's reverse engineer this boss and then make it sound like shit.
And I was like, I plugged in a few and I'm like, whew, now that's a circuit. And then I'm like, well, it's made in Utah. Not exactly known as a hard rockin' state, right?
Yeah. Ezekiel, your pedal is rocking a little too hard. 8 tracks, Jesus.
My first car had an 8-track in it. Factory.
Nice.
Pulled that out, put in a cassette with 3-band EQ built into the cassette deck. Oh, yeah. It was all the scoop.
So I've got a little bit of a project during the week here. I'm going to try to go for this Gibson cabinet on the left.
Mm-hmm.
That Gibson cabinet's going to be over here. The Carvin amp stack's going to be in the middle. And then I'm going to have 2 of the smaller heads on either side. I'm going to go for a wet, dry, wet.
I dig it.
Oh, those Gibson cabinets are fucking heavy. They're so heavy. Oh,
last time I rearranged this room, I waited until my buddy Mark came over. He's like, so what are we doing? I'm like, I got to rearrange these cabs. He's like, oh? I'm like, yeah. But you know what sucks first? He goes, wow. I'm like, we have to like pull 40 fucking pedals down first, put them somewhere. And then was, playing Tetris in here, moving stuff around. We got her done though. Want to get the amps up off the floor, so they're sitting on road. 2 of these are sitting on road cases now. The half stack, I don't fucking care. It's a fucking half stack I paid $300 for and played more than $300 worth of gigs in it. So. And it's a Frontman series solid state half stack. Like, please, Flood, please destroy that one. I will take the cash equivalent because it'll be easier than trying to sell a shitty half stack on Kijiji. Like, I got to find the right pissed off 17-year-old to sell that to. I bought the whole thing for $300. Yes, enjoy, kid. I did.
Surprisingly, this is another one of those. Could not believe how good it sounded. It was like a late '80s Squire 10-watt, 10-inch little sidekick, little 5-knob deal, solid state, made in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, this thing sounded like a twin. I'm like looking behind the thing. I'm like, is there a tube back here? It's just like, holy shit! Like, where's all this compression and boom?
Not that amp. That amp, I was just basically using it like a PA. I ran the EQ flat, and that's when I really discovered it's a pedal platform. It's a pedal platform.
Yeah, it's
the
kind
other
of
guitar player did the same thing.
The brown one, that's a Nady, like the microphone company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently they did tube amps at some point, or at least had somebody OEM them for them. That is a wonderful pedal platform.
Nice.
Set the bass, mids, and treble at 3. Put the Put the contour on 5 to get a little bit of that sparkle back, and no matter what you throw in front of it, it's nice and flat right across. That's been my go-to for, God, like 3 years now. Flat EQ response. Sometimes I'll take the preamp out and push that into the PV Classic 212 just because that's 6L6s.
Right.
Get that into it. It's got the pair of Celestion G12K85s, I believe. Actually, the 1270, 12, whatever, the 12 something 75s, they're just a little bit higher wattage. I just want to be able to, I'd like to have Henning set up. To be able to go to run these 15 amps into these 32 cabinets and there's 4 million watts and fuck you because you can't have it.
Yeah. Yeah. And everything's loaded correctly. Yeah. Yeah. My dream already is I'm going to buy one of those 8-channel looper, the save on your pedals that you put on the front, the pros put them to save on their pedals. That's one.
Musician's Friend. Their house brand is acoustic. These are $64 right now.
Okay. Well, see, my idea is you don't loop 8 pedals in and save on the buttons on the pedals.
You loop this in
8 boards, right? Because you have a bunch of phasers on one board, a bunch of choruses on a board, a bunch of delays, a bunch of whatevers.
Okay.
And that way it cuts down on some noise because each one's only going to have a handful of pedals on one. And then, you can run it with all the one spots in the world or whatever. But that's my idea. Or just tying in several pedal boards into one monster thing. I think RJ does a similar thing because he's got, 14 pedal boards now or something kicking around. That's why he's clearing out pedals because I know he's in the double digits of pedal boards. And he had, I think, all of his pedal boards into a looper like that, going into his interface. So he's like, oh, I need this over here. And oh, Jesus. Okay. They're everywhere.
Got the ambient pedal board, the grindy pedal board, the fuzzy pedal board, the modulation pedal board.
Yep. The country board, the 80s session board, yeah.
No, wouldn't that be nice?
I'll be there. We'll all be there.
Yeah. In tone heaven someday.
If you see that bookshelf sitting on the side of the road for free, you knock the back and the sides off. You got half a dozen pedal boards right there. That's what every shelf that's out in the garage, Mark and I will be cleaning out the garage. He's like, what are these shelves for? I'm like, pedal boards. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do something at some point. That's what I would like to do is find the right shelving system so I can somewhat display them too. Maybe we'll just maybe right about there. Yeah, we'll just there. All the pedals, right, Charles? All the pedals.
And just go with 212s on the bottom and just.
I just don't want to go full Josh Scotts. When you tune in and you see an all white room and all it is shelves of pedals.
I think you said the other day there's 3,000 pedals in that room.
I wouldn't doubt it because I was noticing that too. Like, they're jamming and they're all pedals behind the drummer too, and they're like well up.
Yeah,
like 10 rows high. And I was like, who the fuck can reach those? I'm like, oh wait, Josh is like 7'10" already, so he can reach them. And
then they'll walk over and pull out the drawers underneath the shit on the shelf. Fucking, he has the box. It's like all the boxes are in the fucking drawers. It's like, holy shit. I not only do I have a shit ton of respect for the guy, I mean, he's doing for pedals what Trogley and Phil have done for fixing your own gear and guitar history.
Yeah, and considering the guy has a company, it's not like it's you or I doing it.
Right.
It's a guy who is basically saying, here, buy this instead of one of my own products.
Yep.
Just as often as not. So.
Even more so, which is why I think it's funny when they, do the shameless plug jingle. It's like, what? It's not a plug. It's your fucking show, dude. It's your show. It's your company. It's your channel, Use your shit. But 80% of the time, it's other people's stuff, which just shows you.
So apparently, this is dinner for Trev tonight.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that's how I was
He
like,
got his, he got his baby back.
yeah, that's all the ribs. That's both
I'm
sides. That's all the ribs. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, pork or beef. I don't care. One of each? Sure. Doesn't matter. They just looked amazing. They're going to be good. So, yeah. Yes, you have done a few pedal demos, RJ.
Fuzz.
He offers the 7-string opinion on most of his demos. That's what I enjoy about it. I was like, wow, I own that pedal. I've never heard it sound like that.
Well, you got to hit it with that extra bleh.
Yeah. We'll be eating 30 minutes. I don't think I could get there from here in 30 minutes. Not without teleportation.
Yeah.
Which, my God, that'd make gear deals amazing, especially YouTube. Oh, you want to borrow this? All right, I'll pop on over. Oh, crazy. Well, we'll go a few more minutes here, folks. See if I missed anything here.
So completely unsolicited, I've got a buddy back in Illinois who's got a bunch of stuff up on his YouTube channel. It's a guy by the name of Surface X, almost like the word surface with an X at the end.
Okay.
He's got some gear demos, a lot of amp demos, and a lot of nerdy stuff, as in like deep dive. Hey, that like the super distortion. What would that sound like in an Alnico 2? How about an Alnico 5? How about an Alnico 8 versus the ceramic? He did that with a ton of pickups and these different amp settings and a lot of really in-depth, hardcore. Wow, I can't believe you went that far into it.
See you, Zach.
So everybody should go check out Surface X, also on YouTube. He's got, I think, 7 or 8 albums that he did 100% all on his own. Just
nice.
In his room. I mean, just synths, drums, guitars.
Well, I'd asked Terry to put the link in the chat, but he's apparently falling asleep, so he's out of here too. So, all right. No worries, Terry. Have a good one. And see you at the Squire Telecaster. Yeah, definitely check that out. Surface X.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. It was like, what do I want to talk about? It's like, I haven't talked to my buddy in a while, but he's, he was like 10 years ago, he was doing this stuff before it was a thing.
Right.
And it was just like, what? I don't know if he's, still really all that active on there, but I think it would be nice if you got a few, few new subs, a few extra views.
A little bump.
Yeah.
Always nice. Yeah.
And he's
a little bumps. Everyone should check out Charles 75N's channel if you haven't already. The latest fabric wrap is up live there, and he's got more on the go. I know at least. He's got 4 in the pipe? I don't know. Yeah, between he's at the point where he's like, I'm not even getting to my own stuff. It's like, I know that feeling, and that's a good feeling, Charles. So, and he's doing amazing work. Like he was showing off that Meteora. He's holding up 12,000 grit.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. And then buffs it. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I got to buff this 3 times. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Keith, I may do it tomorrow. Actually, well, it depends on how long that race was today. I got to watch the race still. But I've watched the other 2 races, so... No, there's 2 races today. Maybe, if not Tuesday. I should get done early this week. Weather dependent, too. The hands. The hands are good. I'm ready to go. I found the volume pot. Searched everywhere for it. Because that's my life. 20 minutes to clean the workbench. Where is it? Still in the alligator clip on the soldering station. The problem is, I moved the soldering station from here to over there. Let's do it live. No, we're not doing soldering live, Symmetry. No.
I laugh because I suffer from the same affliction. It was here a second ago. God damn it, it was just here.
Oh, yeah.
More times than
that's why I wasn't surprised when apparently a package arrived without me knowing it. because that's my life. That's my life. What was it? When I was looking for the vice grips to shorten those screws. I spent 20 minutes looking for the vice grip. Found those shitty rusted vice grips. Do the video. I'm like, that's it. This is going to be the end of the episode. I'm done. Pissed off. I'm going to go outside, have a vape. I go walk out to the garage, put my vape down on desk, go hit the garage door opener, come back to grab my vape, sitting right next to my brand new vice grips. Couldn't find them for half an hour previously. So, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. No, Keith. No, Keith. No. We're not doing live solder. Besides, the reception wouldn't be that good in that room anyways. It's got the furnace is going and lights and what's up, Jay Steen and Layla's Guitar Daddy? Just wrapping things up pretty soon. Did you fill the trim screw holes? No, I left them oversized. What was the name of that channel again? Surface X or Charles 75N? Which one? Are you being shameless or not?
If it's for the other guy that does some of the in-depth stuff, that's Surface X, all one word.
Guitar 45 has to do yet another late night road trip. It was Pad Thai last night. What is it tonight? Jeez, that man's always. Honey, can you? Yep.
Yeah, my girlfriend likes Pad Thai. This place here in Kenosha called Pimmy's. She likes to go to.
Well, he gave me the munchies when he mentioned it during Steve from Boston show last night, so I went and heated up some garlic noodles while Steve was going. I was like, I love the subscriber only on the chat. No dicks. It's really easy as a moderator. Basically wait until Steve asks me to put a link to something, which he never does. Though it was weird how many times he sang my name during the show.
Just watch the replay then.
Oh, you just watch the first 5 minutes or so until the one where he's trying to find the right notes. And it's like, okay, everyone else, fine, just names. Me? Nope. That's fine. I've been to the Eagle's Nest, Mark. That is a very cool place. It's a high cliff. You look way down. There's a Tim Hortons at the bottom. Imagine that. You put a Tim Hortons right in the bottom of the fucking view. Hashtag Canada. Do rum runners still exist? Yes. Sometimes a fella needs a bottle at a certain time of night on a certain day of the week. I guess they're more bootleggers. Oh, look at that. Charles, all using his wrench ability.
Awesome. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Charles. Appreciate it.
And
I was right. Where's the Tim Hortons at the bottom? I was there in 1995, so I wasn't sure. I think it was 95, maybe 97. I don't know. It was the 90s. In the 90s, sort of like my parents' generation with the 60s, If you had a good time, you don't really remember much.
Yeah.
From what I've been told, I had a good time.
That sounds about right, yeah.
The stories that have been told to me, that involve me, sounds like I had a pretty good time.
One time on this roof.
To document it. Thank God.
It was a simpler time. Safer.
Twas. Yes. Well, on that note, I think we should probably wrap things up. It's been an amazing show. We're definitely going to do this again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mazel. Show off some gear, talk about gear, and I like doing that. And just about everyday stuff, which we always like veering off on this channel doing that. We take it little, which is perfect.
Stream of consciousness.
Who wants all gear all the time? No, gotta have the tangents.
All the gear.
Well, it's like I didn't even realize it yesterday. We're on the Zoom call. Yeah, gotta be, hey, channel members, patrons, here's a good reason to join, for the Zoom calls, because I'm sitting here reading the damn Hydra manual. Realize I'm forgetting I'm on the Zoom call, basically, because, I'm high as fuck. And I'm just... And Charles starts giggling. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you reading a manual? Because apparently I'm just arguing with... I'm like, well, it says that knob does it. It doesn't do that for me. I'm like, oh, you can do that? Oh, how? Because well, I'm trying to figure out, and I even asked Dave Friedman off air, and I'll say it on air. What the fuck? So the Hydra, because I got it with all the reverb, but the way I run into it, I've got the stereo chorus out. One side of the stereo chorus goes into a delay into the reverb. The other side of the chorus goes right into the reverb. I turn off my chorus and the reverb stops. Why? I didn't touch the reverb pedal.
Yeah.
Exactly. So help a guy understand, and I can't. There's no. I don't know.
Maybe it digitally emulates the way analog chorus pedals are, where it's got the two outputs, and you turn it off, and there's only one output. Then maybe it's like the ghost.
It turns off the reverb going to both amps.
Oh, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I was just.
Maybe there's a setting for series versus parallel. If they're in parallel, one will affect the other.
Yeah, and then I'm reading it, and it's like, oh, it says when you turn this, it does that. I'm like, no, mine doesn't. So I'm like, is there an A, B? How do you factory reset? And they're like, oh, well, you just got to hold down like these 3 buttons while plugging it in. And I was like, what? How? Like, it's on a pedal board. And they were like, we recommend placing it on a flat surface or a pedal board. I'm like, well, if it's on a pedal board, you're not plugging anything in while holding down 3 buttons. I'll tell you that much. Whoa. That's right, yeah. And I think it was Paul named it. Yeah, it's going to be a new segment on the channel. Ben reads the fucking manual.
Input impedance, 150 meg ohms.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, and because that thing, it's got all the digitals, and then I'm reading, like, when I was waiting for you to come on, I'm reading, oh, did you want to flip the order of the pedals in? I'm like, what? You can do that? I didn't know that. So I put the tremolo in front of or after reverb.
Fuck yeah.
Like, okay, and then it's like, oh, did you want vibrato, harmonic, or sine wave tremolo? I'm like, wait, I how? There's no knob for that. There's no switch for that. How did I know? How? No, well, if you hold down this one button and turn this other one, you can go through the various waves. I was
like a modifier almost. Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, huh? How? Like, how would you know that without reading Manuel?
Yeah, there should be like an asterisk or a circle around that knob or something to give a fellow.
I'm like, they're like, well, that's the other part that's written in red. I'm like, oh, the red on the sky blue pedal, that's super small writing. I was like, oh, I thought that was an underline. I didn't realize that was a word under there. And then, I can kind of see the black, kind of see the white. The red, not so much. And then, do you want to save a preset? No. It's a pedal. Pedals shouldn't have presets, in my opinion. So, I will never save a preset.
No.
You know what a preset is? Is when you haven't changed the settings on your pedal so long that the knobs fuse into place. That's a preset.
Damn.
That was my noise gate for a number of years. Nice.
Labels and a little set it yourself, almost like a tone.
See you, Mark.
So that way you can get the fast and warblies or the slow and swooshies.
Mm-hmm. I go, all the way down on the slowness. I'm just like level. I'm still messing with the level, which is kind of a wet dry thing on that DoD, because you don't want to go full DoD. You can go full lush on an MXR or Boss or a lot of other companies, but DoD, you might want to throw a little dry in there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Icebox is a good name for it because it's ice picky from what I remember. I had one about 10, 12 years ago, and it was good. And just moved on.
I found the key was, just run it. Well, like anything else, like say the rate is the speed is barely above 9 o'clock position. Barely. It's barely moving.
Yeah, I keep my rate at like 830, depth about halfway, maybe a little less. Like almost no movement, just enough for it to.
Yeah, just so it does move. It's not a comb filter, basically. Yeah. Just enough. Yeah, except I got the depth up almost all the way. Because lush. Because then it's going into all the reverb, so mazel.
Yeah.
And then And that's why I was like, all of a sudden, I own that Hydro a month before I realized it does the shimmer. Because I'm playing with it, I'm like, does this thing max out? I don't recall. And all of a sudden, but it doesn't kick in unless it's basically maxed out. All of a sudden, I'm like, what in the actual?
Nice.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. So, yeah.
Yeah, shimmer's good now and again. More than a couple notes is like, am I in church? Time to move on.
Well, yeah, you're just doing Larry Mitchell soundscape stuff. I'm going to hit the low E and let it drone, and now I'm going to play some lead over it. Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good for filling up the space without having too much going on. It's like,
there is no way in hell with this pedal board I could play in a band with a second guitar player. He's like, do you want to save some space? Really? Because I'd like to play too. I'm pretty much using all the space.
All the settings.
Yeah. Michael Chris says shimmer gets old fast. Yeah.
For me, I like it on harmonics. Pop the harmonic on the 7th or the 12th, let it ring out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, oh.
Exactly. There's time and a place. Well, and it does have that. Infinite, if I hold down the reverb button, apparently. So that's what happens when I read the manual. Apparently there's all these functions I didn't know I had. So
yeah, that infinite thing is always a nice touch. The Donner has the Vintiverb, which only has one reverb sound that actually sounds okay. Otherwise, it's just like a delay slapback, and it's ew. But yeah, it's kind of like you hold down. It's like almost like a TC Electronics.
Right.
Hold it down, temporary. It's like a latch. You hold it down, and it's like this reverb just comes swelling up, and then you take it off, and it's gone. It's like, oh, that's a really nice touch, Donner. Yeah. Most of your stuff is
it's like delay pedals. When you hold down the button, it'll go into feedback. Infinite. Perfect. Why more pedal? Especially if you're doing digital, factor that in.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I liked about TC was when they made the mash option or whatever the hell it was. All their pedals did something, and I was like, yes. Why doesn't every company do that? Well, they're not all digital. Well, all you digital companies should. Just saying. So. That's how that works. So, anyways, folks, we're going to wrap things up. This has been Gearjunkie35. I've been Ben. You've been you. Still got 31 people watching. If you haven't already, please leave a thumbs up. If you're tuning in for the first time and you've watched all 2 hours, do yourself a favor and subscribe. Not just my channel, but also Gearjunkie35's channel. Link in the description. Check it out. There's videos. I've seen them. You should more coming, right? God knows he's got a pedal or two he could do a demo on. I'm just saying.
287.
Yeah, give or take. There we are. So I'll be back tomorrow night with Terry and Symmetry doing Canucks with Guitars live Q&A because that beats having a topic. That's the cop-out for musician channels. You got nothing to say, really, or no plan? Live Q&A! You supply the content. That's what that is, basically. You supply the content. But I appreciate the content. So, my insert says he was the 4th thumbs up. Nice. Symmetry sub. Awesome. Thank you, Charles, for the link. And, back tomorrow. And then, Tuesday night, because I doubt Doug's still here, but NAS Canucks with Doug and myself. We'll be recapping the races I've yet to watch. So I'll watch them. So at least I watch them. He's like, I was camping. I missed it. Oh, great. Okay. It's fine. What's up, Eric? And what do we got coming out? Oh, my mazel. Because for the folks that have been here this long, we'll just switch over to the content tab of the YouTube studio to see what the soda pop is of the week. Ooh, Jones Soda Watermelon, apparently.
Watermelon. Yummy.
Yep. You got to find out if I like that. I like watermelon. Let's find out if I like that. Until next time, hold those doors open. Let Doug's wife in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you because she is real. I vacationed with her. I've done family functions. Yep. Don't let her.